Welcome back to the Head and Heart podcast. The heart is finally back. I may have been accidentally away last week, but I am here right now. Let's get into it. As always, I'm the heart, he's the head, and we talk footy in Supercoach. Again, not very well, but let's go. So, how'd you go last week in my absence, lad?
Well, speak for yourself. Not very well, mate. I think from memory, I'm back in the profit this week. Had my best week in a long time with you away. So I don't know
What do
if
you
it
mean,
was.
not very well? You did well.
No, I said my best week in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for some reason I just fare a lot better with you away.
Mm.
I went
I'm too
four out of
attractive. I'm
seven.
taking you out of the. Without me, you've got the blinkers off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. I went four out of seven with a total profit of $396.25 from those bets. My total profit for the week was actually $566.25. So even more profit through the spreadsheet. If
Not
you
bad.
haven't
Not
already
bad.
jumped in there, I've been a bit of a freak in the sheets recently, so jump in and have a look. Yeah, no, but decent profit. I think I'm back into the green off the back of that from memory. But the profit will be down below me here. So that'll be obvious. But let's run through each game, and you can sort of give your thoughts and feelings as well. As
Yeah.
obviously I'll touch on my bets.
Yeah. No worries. So, first game of the round last week was the Wars v Tigers. The score ended up 28-16 with a last minute Appy Coruscant try. I don't know about you, but I had a bet on this game. It was essentially Wars 13 plus with Vanilla Blake and Wateni's Lesniak anytime. At the 74th minute, I was cheering, only for Appy to absolutely ruin my night.
Yeah, I had the pretty much direct opposite fortune. I had the Warriors 1-12, and that got home right at the end. I also have Appy and Supercoach, so was pretty fucking happy when he scored.
Oh, you happy Appy fan?
Happy
Fuck
Appy
off.
fan. So yeah, that netted me a decent little profit on that game. Um, the next game of the round was the Storm versus the Eels. The Storm ended up winning 32-14. Did you have anything in this game, yeah, yourself?
No, I didn't actually, but I did expect the Storm to win pretty comfortably. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a good read on what exactly the scoreline would be. I mean, the scoreline ended up right around that line, so probably a good one to leave alone. I got jumped on Wishart to score any time. When Munster was named on the bench, he went up to 425, so I got $4.25 odds on that one. If you followed on the pod, you would have got 390, but yeah, no, either way, that one got up, and it was a nice little win. So two from two to start my week. I was pretty happy.
Not bad at all. Next game of the round, we go into the Broncos 16 to the Bulldogs 41.
Yeah, pretty crazy scoreline. I think I expected the Bulldogs to be decent in this one, but like with the number of games the Broncos need to win, I sort of expected them to get home in this one. So I had the Broncos 1-12. A lot of other people would have had the Broncos at their line. So I like thought I was taking a good bet and taking them 1-12. Thought the Dogs would be okay, but yeah, I mean the Dogs are way more than okay. They
Oh,
absolutely.
the Dogs actually ran home with it, but weren't there a couple injuries for the Broncos in pretty key positions?
Yeah, I mean, I know they weren't 100%, but it doesn't really excuse the
Sorry, maybe I'm
performance.
confusing it. I thought there was a couple mid-game injuries, so they kind of turned the tables in that game.
Yeah, look, I honestly can't really remember. Like no, I don't like Walsh and Reynolds and stuff were okay. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty. Either way, like you should not be losing by 40 at home. So,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
getting 40 put on you at home. Sorry.
yeah. Um, the next game of the round was the Cowboys versus the Sharks. The Cowboys won by 8 up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I know the toe from last week had either team 1-12 in this one. Unfortunately for myself, I just had the Sharks 1-12. So frustrating that I was just on the wrong side of the same coin there.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
either team 1-12 would have been a really good bet. I think it was at paying $1.80, which is pretty good odds for like an either team 1-12.
yeah. You win some, you lose some with that, don't you?
Yeah. The next game of the round was probably the most frustrating game of the round for mine. I had the Roosters -7.5. A lot of people,
Yeah,
I think, were overrating Manly, and I think it was a really good spot to get on the Roosters. And the -7.5, like by all accounts, should have won three intercept tries thrown by the Roosters.
To be fair, though, the Roosters had three very fluky tries, all basically because of the bounce of the ball. So I guess they kind of even each other out. But
Not
I'd
at all.
say
I
you should be
completely
throwing intercept passes to begin with.
yeah, I mean, I completely disagree. They definitely didn't have fluky tries like intercept passes. Like, they
No,
had a
they
lot.
did. Like they had three tries, all because of the bounce of the ball. Like that Dom Young try where it somehow bounced off another player into him and he picks it up and scores.
Okay, but that's just like they're getting the ball there. Like it could bounce a different way, and it still goes to Dom Young. It doesn't mean it's a fluke just because it
Yeah,
bounced towards him.
I guess. Okay, I see where you're coming from, but yeah, disappointing
Whereas an
score.
intercept try is just shit. Like an intercept try, like one intercept try in a game, sure, whatever. But fucking literally three. Like you have to be so brain dead. And Luke Keary threw. He definitely threw the last two. I'm not sure about the first one, but fuck me, I wanted to kill Luke Keary, honestly.
Yeah, no, I had the Chooks minus 19 and a half with Dom Young to score, so I'm also frustrated with this one. How about yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, I had the Roosters minus 7.5.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I misheard that.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways, let's move on to the next game. Dragons v Panthers, 10-46. I didn't think it'd be this much of a showing. I thought the Panthers would win comfortably. How about yourself?
yeah. I mean, I was with you there. I thought that the Panthers would win comfortably for sure. Cleary back, and obviously he fired, and then obviously they get all their players back like Luai and whatnot.
Yeah, it's like the first big Panthers blowout I can recall, to be honest. Like it's Panthers
Well,
tend to win comfortably by 10 to 20 points. They
yeah.
never win by 20 plus.
Well, yeah, it's the first Panthers game where they've had pretty much all their boys back. Dylan Edwards obviously
Yeah.
wasn't back, but like Cleary and all the rest of the Origin boys were back in this one, and it's sort of reflected in the scoreline. So I was very happy to take a negative 11.5. Yeah, considering I lost three in a row, I was happy to get this one up to sort of swing the favors back my way. Did you have anything in that game?
Yeah, so frustratingly, I had a pretty cursed week in case you can't tell with that first game.
Mm.
Second game, I had Taruva and I had Dane Laurie to score any time. Dane Laurie gets knocked out within the first, I believe, 20, and then Taruva gets moved to fullback. So neither of them were going to score, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I got
tough.
screwed. I got screwed there.
Yeah, moral victory probably.
Not really. I didn't have either try scorer, so I can't really count that one, can I?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Um, And the next game of the round was the Dolphins versus the Titans. I had the Titans plus 6.5. They started slow, like the Dolphins started strong, but pretty much as the Dolphins have been doing a lot of this season, they sort of faded away at the end of the game. So they're a scary team to sort of be on. The Dolphins, if you're sort of watching them late in the game, they can obviously fade away like that.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I was on the Titans and they did fade away in the end. So
Yeah.
that rounded out my bets for the week. And yeah, well, lucky I got those last two at home because it would have been an annoying week otherwise. But what about yourself?
Yeah, for that one, I did have the Titans to win, but I also had a bunch of other try scorers as well. Dave Fifita in particular did not look like scoring.
Yeah, yeah,
So moving on to the final game of the round, the Raiders 32-12. I did not see this happening at all. I genuinely thought the Rabbitohs would win, but to top off my week, of course, I had the Rabbitohs with a certain winger to score, and said winger goes down with an Achilles injury. So
yeah,
I'd say three bad beats this week.
yeah, yeah. No, that is tough that AJ went down. But I mean, the Raiders at home, they look like a lot better team with Fogarty in there. So I'm not super surprised that they did run away with that one, but I wasn't confident enough either way to chuck a best bet on.
Yeah, and I believe as well to make things worse for the Bunnies, I think they ended the game with like 15 players. Like they just got absolutely ruined.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, it's probably best to move on to this next week. We can always look forward, especially someone who's won a lot of money.
Hmm.
Um, so I believe the record in side bets is now 10-5, which means
Yeah,
I need to do a double punishment.
yeah, yeah. So
You have to consider something. What am I going to do?
Um, well, the toe last week said you have to just cop the 40 fish finger challenge,
I'm
which I,
not going to do that. I'm not. That's the one thing I'm vetoing is like anything fish related.
well, if it's a double up, you have to do something decent. I reckon like I'll give you options: 40 fish finger challenge, 24 hours in a Macca's, every burger you eat takes an hour off. And I'll think of maybe one other option, but those are your choices right now.
You could just say me sucking my own dick. I get veto on one, and I'm gonna say I get some sort of creative control on the third one.
You can choose.
Yeah.
I'll give you three options. I'll find another. I'll think of a third option, and then you can choose which option. It's not.
You have to make that third one somewhat fair. Otherwise, you could quite literally say "suck your own dick," and I'd have to
Yeah,
choose two.
I'll make it a legit
Yeah,
fourth. I'm not going to say something random, but like you have to do something decent.
yeah, no, okay, fair enough. I agree with that.
What's wrong with the Macca's? 24 hours in a Macca's and
I
every day.
mean, I don't really want to do it, but I'm probably going to have to at this stage, aren't
Yeah, we'll actually everyone drop something in the comments. Obviously, make it reasonable, but drop something in the comments what you think the third option should be for the heart to
I? I mean, we
do.
could do the 4-12. Was it the 4-8-12 and 24 challenge? Or was it the
You
four?
can get through that, then sure. I wouldn't be taking that option. I just do the Macca's.
Let's do the fucking 4-8-24 challenge, whatever it is.
No, it's 6,
The
12,
6
20.
12 to 18
No,
challenge.
no, no. It's not. I don't know what it is. Yeah, no, it's 6, 12, 18, 24.
Fuck. And also what I can do.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that.
Why not?
That's it's way harder than it sounds. Anyway, let's move on to our super coach ranks. Um, yeah, I already spoke to that. I was a big fan of the Panthers last week, and that sort of led me to bring in Nathan Cleary and captain him, which is probably the only good captaincy decision I've made all year, or one of very few. So I ended up on 1457, and I'm into 11,384,
Not
up
bad. Not
5K.
bad at
What
all.
about yourself?
Yeah, so I am now 50,355 higher. That means that 50% of people who are watching this podcast are better than me. I'm down 4,000 places, down to 10 total.
You'd be in the
Pretty
top
tough.
50%. There's like 160,000 people that play Supercoach.
Okay, so top 33.3% then. How's that sound?
Yeah, nice.
Better
Yeah,
statistics for the potty. Am I right?
yeah. I think I'm like around top 7-ish,
Yeah.
something like that. And
Anyway,
that will improve.
so let's get into the bets bet of the week.
Yep.
So we've got two legs as always. The head chooses one, the heart chooses one. So my head, my leg, sorry, apologies. We are going to the Olympics, which is currently ongoing at the moment, and I have found somebody I think is going to win gold for Australia, and it's in the athletics. So I'm so keen for this. We have Nina Kennedy on the pole vault. She is not only a great athlete on her own right, but she comes from a great lineage of Australian pole vaulters. You know, Steve Hooker in that.
Mm.
I think she's going to win gold, be the second gold medal in the pole vault for Australia. What's your leg?
I've got the Dolphins plus 11.5 as my leg. You can get the two of those bets combined in a multi at $4.08.
Come on, that's a bit boring.
I mean, I can't really top Nina Kennedy pole vault as my fucking as
Where's
my
your
leg. I
Boomer
have no.
Sangam multi lad?
Sorry.
Where's
Yeah,
the
little
Boomer
same game.
Sangam multi? Like, surely Fever Patty gets a mention there or something.
Yeah, no, just the Dolphins plus 11.5 and Nina Kennedy pole vault.
And that is $4.08 on Ladbrokes/Nets, I believe.
Yeah. Um, let's talk best bets of the round though. For myself, my best bet of the round will be the Dragons plus 18.5 on Bet365. You can get that at $2 odds. I like the Dragons this week for multiple reasons. I think the Dragons lost by a lot last week because they came up against a Penrith team that wanted to flex their muscle with all their boys back. I don't think the Dragons team are anywhere near as bad as they actually looked last week. They had a pretty poor game, but I think they'll be better going into this week. This Storm team is coming off a win, a comfortable win as well. I think they're in a comfortable position. I don't think they'll be as desperate to win as that Penrith team was last week. General betting theory also says, bet on the team off a loss because public perception is going to swing the opposite direction. So I'm a big fan of the Dragons, especially when you can get 3 converted tries in this one.
Fair enough.
But what's your best bet for that?
Yep. So my best bet goes to the first game of the round, being the Tigers v Cowboys. The Tigers do host the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are kind of still in the chance for a finals 8 spot. The Tigers, I think, have all but given up for the year. So I'm going Cowboys 13 plus with Nanai and Another name who may be going to the Tigers pretty soon, Valentine Holmes. Anytime try score is at $7.50.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think the Cows are looking really good right now. Just I mean,
I
we'll get
think
into
they've
that.
got that effort and determination they need to get into the eight, and I think they will be trying this game. So,
Yeah. We'll get into that game shortly. It's the first game of the round.
yep,
Let's just talk trades for the round though. For us, this is the last round before finals. For myself, I'm locked into the top four, so making trades is not really. I mean, obviously, I can make trades for my rank, but making trades is not really going to benefit me too much. But I am making the one trade, and that's Tyron Wishart to Bailey Hodgson. Um, Tyron Wishart is pushed to the bench, so his scoring is going to decrease. So I think this week's a good week to get him out.
rip shot.
There's no player that I really desperately want to trade in though. I've obviously still own Cleary and some of these other highly traded in players, so no one I particularly want to trade in. So yeah, I'm flipping Jaden Campbell back up to my 5'8" for this week. Flipping Wishart, or yeah, taking Wishart out, bringing in Bailey Hodgson. Bailey Hodgson in particular because he's a centre wing fullback dual and he's no chance of playing for that Manly team. He'll be a complete nuff. He's 200k, so that banks me an
Bailey
extra.
Hodgson's been released already, dude.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. No chance of
Yeah,
playing, which is what I want because he'll be a complete nuff for my team, and like I can use him if I need to chuck someone into for my VC loops and stuff like that as well. So perfect option in Bailey Hodgson there. But what about yourself? Any trades for this round?
I am giving up on Supercoach. I am making zero trades this week.
There's fifth to 11th, I think it is, in our competition can still make the finals, and you're in that bracket. So surely you make at least one trade.
Can I at least have the element of surprise for one podcast week?
Okay, okay, true. Actually, that's a good shout. You can say you
Yeah.
don't have to say you can just say I'm saving my trades. You don't have to say okay, okay, okay. Oh, sorry,
Wink.
I should have got what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, very exciting week of Supercoach for everyone. So
Yeah, every person watching this podcast who probably is also already in our Supercoach comp, all five
yeah,
of them.
yeah. So yeah, yeah, definitely not a bad move there by not giving up your secrets. For this one. But let's jump into the games this round. The first game of the round is the Tigers versus the Cowboys. Um, Supercoach wise, there might not be a whole lot of relevancy, but obviously this Cowboys team is looking a little bit better. So some players that people are starting to jump on. Val Holmes is one that's sort of bottomed out in price. Would you be looking at him at all for this round? He's hit 615k off the
I
back of
still think he's
104.
too high for Val Holmes, to be honest. I say he's going to score this week, but I don't think he's as good as the previous Val Holmes seen. I think he's just not going to perform again to the level we know he can. So I don't think he's a buy.
I would disagree. I think Val Holmes is a buy if you don't own him at 615k with the goal kicking. I don't really see the downside. Worst case, he's going to have that goal kicking. He's going to run the ball a fair bit. So I think he's going to at least average the price that he's at. And I think in this run home, he could, with obviously them trying to push to the finals, he could have a heap of upside. For example, I know for a fact that, well, not for a fact, but the Storm team in the second last game of the round are going to rest a lot of their players in that trip up to North Queensland. So he could, in what might seem like a tough fixture there, he could score really well. So some of these Cowboys players become a lot more genuine options than you may think just looking superficially at their draw. So I'm a fan of Val Holmes. I'm a fan of bringing in Cowboys options, and especially this week when they've got the Tigers. Um, Aside from that, Scotty Drink, would he be one? He's hit 654k. Would he be one you think about as well? Or
It really depends with Scott. If you think the Cowboys are going to do well, I think you should pick up Scotty Drink.
yeah,
But I'm not entirely sure in their run home, to be honest.
yeah,
I think if you think the Cows can be well, I think you pick him up. If you don't think the Cows are going to do well, probably don't pick him up.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I think the Cows are going to go well. They're looking pretty good at the moment, so I can see them going on a bit of a run. Um, so yeah, I definitely don't mind picking him up. And they don't have crazy tough fixtures. The only tough thing for the Cows is that they do have the round 25 bye. So I did actually have a decent little look at Scotty Drink, but for mine, just without any like sort of base upside in like goal kicking or anything like that, it's hard to get around Scotty Drink with around 25 bye. But I mean,
Yeah,
an interesting little pod, but even in saying that, he's still 15% owned, so he's not that much of a pod either way. So yeah, I don't know. I don't love Scotty Drink, but big fan of someone like a Val Holmes.
fair enough. A player like Lockie Galvin, do you think he's still a guy you should keep in your team? Do you think it's time to move on from Galvin with these last 6 weeks left? Or do
Yeah,
you think maybe that the Tigers know they're not going to make the finals now means they might go on a bit of a run?
Lockie Galvin, just firstly, there was talk of him being injured, but I think that's been cleared if you are an owner, so I don't think that's anything to worry about. For mine, I actually wouldn't mind jumping off Lockie Galvin. It obviously completely depends on your team. There might be other trades that people want to make, and there's definitely trades that I prioritize over trading out Lockie Galvin. I don't think it's a definite need to trade out, but with some of these other teams really pushing for finals, I'd much rather be an owner of some of their
Hmm.
sixes on
Yeah,
mine.
fair enough.
But like in saying that, I don't have a great move to trade out if you were a Lockie Galvin owner for this week. So it might not be a move that's practical.
Yeah, certainly. I get where you're coming from completely there.
Yeah. The other one obvious to jump off is Ruben Cotter, not named this week.
Yeah, he really stung me last week. I think was he injured? I wasn't paying too much attention to be honest.
Yeah, I think he got knocked down. I actually don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention either. Um, but yeah, anything aside from that that you sort of sticks out to you super coach wise?
Not really, to be honest. I think it's at this stage you know who the good players are, you know who the good players aren't. So
Yeah.
I think it's just best if you don't know, leave them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is the time of the year where trades are very limited. For me, I'm sort of trying to set a very clear plan with what I'm doing in my trade. So it's going to be hard to make sort of yeah, different out there trades, but maybe one or two would be the difference for some of the better play, like some of the players that can really push for the finals. So I guess it's something to consider. But let's talk betting. What do you have in this game?
Yep, so my bet of the week, which was Cows 13 plus with Nanai and Holmes anytime try scorers at $7.50. How about yourself?
Yeah, look, I actually really don't mind your bet. I think the Cows are looking quite good at the minute. And yeah, I can't really knock anyone jumping on them. Just for myself, though, I can't really bet on the Cowboys. That they've won a few games recently, and the Cowboys have and the Tigers have been losing games recently. So there's not going to be much value in their price. But yeah, no, I actually am a fan of the Cowboys in this one. I just think people might be underrating them. They're definitely a chance to push for finals, like you said, and there definitely could be a give up spot for the Tigers here. But yeah, I'm just going to not bet on this game just because I don't think there's going to be any value in the spot for the Cowboys.
Fair enough. Totally fair enough on that one.
The next game of the round is the Warriors versus the Eels. A Warriors team that gets a few of their big boys back. Chance back to fullback, SJ
Yeah.
back in the team as well.
I don't really know if SJ being back is a good thing, to be honest. In hindsight, if I realize that, I might change my bet. Just because
Yeah,
I think,
and I mean, I'll touch on my bet. I'm not probably not going to bet in this game either, just because there's a heap of uncertainty around exactly how someone like an SJ will go. Even a chance coming back from injury, there's no certainty around how he'll go. But like, it could be really good, could be really bad. I guess that's one to wait and see. But before we jump into all of that, let's talk Super Coach. Um, a popular player was Tamari Martin in Supercoach recently, but not in the 6 or 7 in this game. Would you be moving off Tamari Martin at this point of the season?
I don't know, to be honest. I think we could see Sean Johnson going down with an injury pretty quickly again. I don't know if Sean Johnson sees out the rest of the season, but at the same time, is that something you really want to risk?
Yeah, I'd much rather just jump off Tamari Martin, get onto an option in a different team that you know is definitely going to be playing week in and week out. So yeah, I just think it's a good shout to jump off him. Um, Aside from that, people jumping off Blaze Talangi as well. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't mind holding Blaze Talangi. He might pick up the odd try, but definitely
I think
can't.
the problem with Blaze in particular is he can't score well because he keeps on getting shifted from position to position. Like it's good he's starting every week, but where's he starting every week?
That's true. Um,
Like
I
how
mean,
can you as a player be
he's
playing
been
good
scoring
games?
okay.
He's scoring fine, but he could be scoring good. He's a good player, but he just doesn't play in the same position week in, week out.
Yeah, yeah. The top traded in player this week, and actually the highest owned player in Supercoach is Adam Fanua-Blake. He's nearly 50% owned.
So
Um, would you be thinking about anti-potting Adam Fanua-Blake at this point of the year, or do you think he's just a must-have?
I think he's a must-have, to be honest. He scores so many tries for a front row forward. It just makes he's like one of the few front row forwards with that try scoring upside, and his base stats are good as well. So why would you not pick him?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that he's a must-have, but I don't think you really gain too much with anti-potting him. Like his low scores are not going to be too low. And yeah, obviously he's hitting out hundreds for fun when he's scoring tries. So I don't really see too much utility in going against him. So I would have to agree with you there. Uh, Obviously, there's going to be some popular options every week. Dallin Martinez, Lesniak, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Would you be
Yeah,
thinking about any players like that at this point of the year?
it's too late. I think you just need to find guys you know will play for the next 5 weeks and will play consistently. I
Yeah,
think you have to look at the draws. I don't know how good the Wise draw is, but I wouldn't be picking an outside back from the Wise at the moment. Vanilla Blank's different. I could even argue Barnett at this stage as well,
yeah,
but I think it's a hard pick for Dallin or Roger.
yeah. No, I mean, I would agree that they did both score decently on the weekend, but I'd much rather move to either like one of the absolute guns, like your Lomax or someone like that,
Yeah,
than one of these
Lomax
guys.
scores well in bad teams. Like his base is 50, even though he doesn't. He's a center slash
Yeah,
winger.
the bloke I was playing Joel on the weekend, and he had Lomax, and I was just like hoping he'd have a low one, and he's still got like a 60 with no, with his team having like no attacking output. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, players like that are a better option. But anything else that sort of sticks out to you in this one in terms of Supercoach?
Not much, to be honest. So let's get straight into the betting.
Yep.
Do you have anything for this game?
Yeah, so I've already sort of spoken to it, but I think there's too much uncertainty around this Warriors team. Plenty of people will be thinking that they're not a team to bet on with how SJ has been performing when he's come back into the team. And Chance obviously hasn't been amazing at points as well this season, but that sort of sentiment sort of makes me think the opposite is true because they can't really be as bad as they have been. And yeah, they could still very easily win this game against an Eels team that's looking for. Also, it's in New Zealand. But yeah, that basically because that uncertainty exists, I'm not betting on this game. But what about yourself?
Yep. So I actually probably going to go the same way with you. I did write down was 13 plus DWZ AFB for 625. I didn't really look too close at the team sheet with Sean Johnson there. To be honest, it's really weird to think, but with Sean Johnson back, I am less likely thinking the Wives are going to win by 13. Is that weird?
I would, yes, that is weird. Obviously, he's fucking nearly won the Daily M last year, but um, yeah, I guess we don't know exactly where he's at. But I feel like if they're playing him, he must be fit. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. Um, so no bet in this one for yourself.
Yeah, I'm going no bet.
Okay. Let's move on to the next game: the Dolphins versus the Roosters. The Roosters obviously got the win against the Seagulls, and the Dolphins are off a loss against the Titans.
And keep in mind that this is a Dolphins home game, but it's actually being played in Perth.
Yeah, yeah. So no home ground advantage in this one. But it's a big away trip for both teams. In terms of Supercoach, though, a player that's always uh, in discussions is James Tedesco off another big week. Would
Yep,
you be
sweet
looking at
James.
someone? Would you look at sorry? Would you be looking at someone like a Teddy, especially considering they have the bye next week?
Probably not, given he's got the bye, but I think maybe the week after I'm considering switching Teddy out for the Pappenhausen. So
Yeah,
switching Teddy in for Pappenhausen because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pappenhausen his team's winning, but he's not scoring points. We'll get into that later. But
He scored decently on the weekend, but yeah, I'm with you there, 100%. For myself, all the other top three teams, so obviously top four in our finals all play each other, and all the other three teams in the four have Tedesco and I don't. So I think I'm pretty set up well. I don't need to win this week to stay in the top four, so I'm set up well for next week. So yeah, I'm definitely not bringing in Tedesco. I think that will be my point of difference in not having him when he has the bye in round 23. So I'm pretty happy not to have him at this point of the season. But yes, definitely looking at him for the run home, like round 24 on, if I can make it work. But yeah, in the same vein, I'm not really super keen on Roosters players at this point in time. One to trade out though, maybe is Terrell May. I jumped on that one last week. I traded Terrell May to Payne Haas, and that worked really well for me. Would you be thinking about a trade like that this round?
yeah, I could definitely get around that. To be honest, I think Terrell May has served his purpose well.
Yeah,
The problem with Terrell May is again we don't know how many minutes he's going to get.
yeah,
And I think the forward rotation has kind of leveled out a little bit. So I think he's going to get less minutes than previous, especially with, Satili moving back to the bench.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it
yeah,
might be best to probably sell him as well.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you there. Off the bench as well, he does average worse, and he's obviously on the bench for this game. So I expect his scoring to drop. That's why I did trade him out last week, and it played to my benefit. I think Panos got an 80 and Traume got a 39. So pretty
Yeah.
happy with that trade for myself last week and can't knock anyone jumping on it this week. Aside from that, a few people trading out Jermaine Asako. I don't think you need to be doing that. He's still going to have the goal kicking. He's going to pick up tries eventually, probably. But yeah, like I don't think you need to trade out Jermaine Asako, but I didn't trade him in the first place. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on that.
Other than that, Pangai Jr., yes or no? Or are you still kind of
I'm still
same
not a
opinion?
fan.
Do
How
you think
much?
he's a bit too up and down?
Yeah. What's he? Is he even traded in? Like, I'm trying to see. I'm thinking like surely he's highly traded in because he had a try, but he mustn't have scored that well.
Yeah, he didn't do much outside the try. I think he went off for a bit. Like
Yeah.
spent way too long off.
I'm just trying to find his score now. Yeah, he had a try in 44.
Jesus, that's a front
That's
row forward.
awful.
I don't think he played many minutes. I swear he went off.
Yeah, but I mean, who cares? Yeah, he did. Obviously, he didn't play the full game, but
How
like,
many minutes?
regardless, if you
Hmm.
have 44 points and a try,
Yeah, it's not great. I know that.
awful, awful. So yeah, I was I was talking a lot of shit on him before, and I think I'm justified in saying it would be a bad pickup by all those people that did. He scored a try and scored 44.
Yeah, not gonna lie. I brought him in solely because you said he's a terrible trade.
Yeah, so
It worked pretty well last week actually. He scored like 60 or 70.
he scored 45
That
last
was in
week.
the week prior, sorry.
The week prior was the week he had a good score, and that's why everyone brought him in. He had a
No, he
nine.
had 2 good weeks in a row, dude.
I'll do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean he's gone to shit now, so um, yeah, no, honestly in this game, no one else really excites me. A few people still jumping on Hammer, but I don't know. Don't
Yeah.
really love it.
With that in mind, let's go back and talk betting. So what do you have this game?
Yeah, for myself, sort of similar logic that I've spoken to for my best bet. I'm jumping on the Dolphins plus 11 and a half. Dolphins team off a loss and Roosters team off a win generally is a good strategy. But on top of that, it's not a Roosters home game. They don't have the home support in this one. Obviously, not a Dolphins home game either. But I think they'll have more support. I mean, this might be a bit of woo woo, but I think they'll have more support over in Perth because they are a new team. But I don't know. I might just be talking out my ass there. But
Enzo.
yeah, I think they're going to be due for a bounce back. The team's still strong. They still look good in a lot of parts of that game against the Titans. So I still expect them to go decently in this one, at least make a competition of it. I don't expect the Wayne Bennett team to get pumped at any point. So yeah, I expect them to go okay in this one. But what about yourself?
Yeah, look, I see the exact opposite happening. I've got the Roosters at negative 19.5 with Young and Crichton anytime try scorers at $8.25. The way
Yeah.
I see it, I think the Roosters are going to run straight over the top of these Dolphins, who I think these Dolphins don't want to make the finals this year. I know that they're doing, what position are they actually? They are eighth. I don't see them staying eighth for a while. Um, with that in mind, I think the Roosters want to kind of curb this pretender status that they seem to have cultivated, and I think the Roosters will win comfortably.
Fair enough.
Yeah, look, I would love to take a side bet with you here, but I really don't think it's fair for me to do so, given I already owe two in a row. So I think it's probably best to hold up on side bets for now, don't you?
Yeah, until you do your punishment.
Yeah, no.
Um, yeah, let's get that punishment sorted, and then we can jump into more side bets. But the next game around we'll jump into it is the Titans versus the Broncos. Big brother, little brother rivalry there. In this game, there's obviously a few Supercoach players that are always going to be relevant. Your big dogs in like your Day for Feeder, your Payne Haas, players like that. Is there anyone in particular that you'd be sort of targeting for this run home? I mean, probably the
I think
obvious one is
Jaden Campbell might be a decent pickup, to be honest. But again, the problem with him is he guaranteed that spot? Does he stay six with AJ Brimson coming back?
I'm almost 100% certain that he's guaranteed that spot, but he's at 800K. Like I picked him up at 600K, and I think he was a good pickup then. But at 800K, I don't really see it. Obviously, this Titans team is susceptible to a loss every now and again, so I don't really see Jaden Campbell as an amazing pickup at this point in the season. But I'm holding him till the end of the season. I think he's a really good hold, but not necessarily a good buy.
Understandable. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the number one traded in player, Payne Haas, he's fallen to 680K now. Is it
Ooh.
just a lock and load in the front row forward, do you think, Payne Haas?
Yeah, I think you get House and you keep him there until round 27. I don't see why you would ever trade him out.
Yeah, the only thing with trading in Haas, I think they have the round 24 buy, so they have a buy very soon.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I mean, he's going to be so solid. I was happy to trade him in last round. And then yeah, obviously I'll miss out on that round 24 for him, but it is what it is. Like
Yeah, it is indeed. It is what it is. You win some, you lose some. I think you keep him in there and you keep him steady.
yeah, yeah. Um, the
Hmm.
next, I mean, it starts to drop off drastically in the number of trade-in players, but Dave Fafita slightly traded in as well. I think it's still like I think his scoring's going to pick up, so I think it's still a fine trade in there for Dave Fafita. I mean, actually, he had a decent week on the weekend, I think, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, he had some disappointing weeks before that. Yeah, an 88, so not bad on the weekend. Another one, your boy, Paddy Carrigan. He's fallen to 547K. He'll fall again next week, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
91 break even. So he should fall again next week and then bottom out at around
I reckon it's
20.
definitely pick up at that price.
Yeah, so 520. Would you be looking at Paddy Carrigan?
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. I think Petty Carrigan is a lock. I think there was some injury issues with him getting knocked out a couple of weeks ago. Is that right?
He was
If I'm
coming back
wrong.
from Origin and played really limited minutes.
I swear he had like a really bad game as well. Like, I think he got like, I think he went off injured or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, against Newcastle, he played limited minutes due to injury. So not injury origin. I think you keep him in your team, you buy him. I think it's a great pick at 540.
Yeah, he'll be even less next week, so you could hold off. He'll be Yeah, I wouldn't mind holding off until after their buy and maybe picking him up for the run home because it'll be about the same, like 550 odd
Yeah.
again. When you can pick him up for the run home, so definitely one to look at for them. But I don't love it for this week, especially considering the buys coming up. Anything else that sort of stands out to you?
Not really. I'm happy to move straight to the betting if you are.
Yeah, yeah, let's do it. What do you have in this one?
Yep. So I have the Titans with AKP anytime try score at 325. I think the Broncos are in a bit of a slide. I think the Titans playing some good footy. I don't really think the Titans have really beaten the Bull, so the Broncos very much in their whole career. So I think we're about to see some little brother, big brother rivalry. I think the Titans get up.
Yeah, I have to agree with you that the Titans are playing pretty good footy, but think this Broncos team will just be way more desperate. That they haven't won many games recently, and they're really pushing, or they'll really want to be pushing for the 8. They can't really see this as a game that they can drop. That would all everything I'm saying might lean you towards betting on the Broncos at a minus line, but I just think this Titans team's been too good. So I think that the Broncos will find a way to get it done, and they'll do it in a gritty one. So I'm on the Broncos 1-12 in this one. I think you can get that at $3.60 from memory. Yeah, $3.60.
Yep.
So happy to jump on the Broncos 1-12 in this one.
Fair enough. I get where you come from there. So fair enough. So let's
Um,
move on to the next game, which is Storm v Dragons.
yeah,
Just get this up. Apologies. The
yeah,
Storm are $1.10 favorites compared to the Dragons, $7 favorite, $7 outsides. And I think that's kind of fair, to be honest. To note, the Dragons have absolutely been ruined in their outside backs. Matthew Fine, Couchman, and Ben Burdock Basila are all out. And I think this is going to lead to a bit of a slaughter.
yeah. I mean, the players that are out though, like they're not massive outs. I'm not really.
Oh, they're not massive outs, but it's more so positioning. I think they're kind of screwed that way.
I don't think so. I think their outside backs are decent for what they've been during the season. Sully's there.
Keep in
Obviously,
mind that Max Fine is playing injured as well.
I
He
mean,
went off like halfway through last week.
if they're willing to play him, I'm sure he's fine. But um, they have like Jack Bird and the extendeds and Ravalawa, so they might play one of those two
Fair enough.
if he was genuinely injured. But yeah, no. Let's talk Supercoach before we get into it too much about the odds and betting in this one. The number one traded in player in this game is Ryan Pappenhausen. Uh, would you be looking at him at 600K if you didn't already own Ryan?
Yeah, look, I am an owner, as you said, but I don't think he's the best option at fullback, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
I think there's far better options. I think Ponga is an okay option. I Even then I'm not even sure if Ponga's an okay option. I think Walsh is a better option. I think Tedesco is a better option. I think Edwards is a better option. I don't know. Pappenhausen just isn't scoring well this year. So
I mean,
if he
yeah.
does score well, he doesn't score consistently either.
I mean, I'll happily play devil's advocate to that one. I think Pappenhausen with Cameron Munster back in the team is a far better Pappenhausen. He scores. Not sure what he averages, but his average is a lot higher with Cam Munster back in the team. Obviously, that's going to be mitigated a bit by the fact that he does goal kick generally when Cam Munster is in the team. But you can just watch the game and see that he plays far better with Munster in the team, and that sort of was reflected in his scoring on the weekend. So I definitely think there's that potential there. I wouldn't be rushing to trade him in if I didn't already have him, but I am happy to sort of own him as a little pod for the run home. He might even be someone just to save a trade that I do hold on to. Might run like a Ponga Pappenhausen as my final two fullbacks, but yeah, no, that's just a wait and see. I wouldn't be necessarily trading him if I didn't own him, but it's an interesting pod. And cheap as well, like 615 compared to some of these, like Tedesco is almost $1 million, saving a lot of money there. But I wouldn't be trading Tedesco to Pappenhausen, put it
Yeah,
that
fair
way.
enough.
But yeah, no, if I was moving towards Pappenhausen, it would have to be like a very specific reason. I would have to like I'm not moving off any of these big guns to go to him, put it that way.
I mean, Garrick to Pappenhausen could work.
Gary,
Garrick, is he not injured this week?
he's KO'd, but they have the bye, so he'll be back.
True. Yeah. Never
Um,
mind. Ignore my ramblings.
Yeah, yeah. And then aside from that, Cameron Munster also traded in. Obviously, back starting. Would you be looking at Munster for the run home as your one of your 5/8s?
I personally have Hughes, and I think Hughes this year has shown that he's a more of the pivot in the attack than Munster. Personally, I think
Munster hasn't been playing.
I know exactly what I'm saying. Well, the games he has played, it's very clear Hughes is the more dominant half this year. And I think
Like but Munster hasn't played many games at all. Like played a little bit of the end of the season. That's about it.
at the start of the season, it was pretty clear that Hughes was the better half.
Nah, Hughes definitely warmed into it as the season went on. Like honestly, I don't, my memory isn't there to definitively say who was the more dominant half, but Hughes has definitely been way better without Munster in the team. And he's been like the best half in the competition for the last 8 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Um, without Munster there, so Munster's an interesting one. His break even's still 150, so not a fan for mine for this week. But it could be an interesting little pod. You just got to be wary that
Yeah.
they won't play that round 26. So there's decisions to be made around that. I'm trading in players at this point of the team, this point of the season. I kind of prefer to trade in players that are in those berths that are pushing for the eight. So like a Cowboys player or a Dolphins player, someone like that that's in and around the eight and still a good chance to make the eight, but they have to win games to make the eight.
Yep, fair enough. I think we can write up any player in the Dragons team outside of Lomax. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Lomax is pretty much the only place I would be looking in their team, and not for this week either way.
Yeah,
But
definitely not.
obviously,
Like, I'm
yeah,
even considering not playing Lomax this week.
yeah. I probably it depends who you have, but I probably still play him. But yeah, I can understand that. Um, Wishart obviously dropped to the bench. Probably a
Sure.
good week to trade out. If you can make the trade work for mine, I'm not trading him to enough. Because I don't need a win this week. But if you did need a win head to head, you could make a trade to someone that would be playing, but that's I guess team dependent.
Yeah, definitely.
Hughes also traded out a bit. Maybe his attack is stifled with Munster, so that's something to think about. But I don't think it's a waste of trade to be trading Hughes out at this point. He still scores okay with
Yeah,
Munster
he
there.
still scores well, so I probably wouldn't. Anyway, so let's get into the betting for this game. What do you have?
For myself, in this game, I've, as mentioned, best bet of the round was the Dragons plus 18.5 on bet 365 at $2. Um, I've already sort of spoken to why I like them in this spot in particular. But yeah, on top of everything I've already said, go back and watch some Dragons games. They look really, really strong in a lot of games. All it takes is for Benny Hunt to be firing, and I think that will come sooner rather than later. So hopefully they go all right in this game. I think they make it a fight at least, and they don't get completely blown out by this Storm team. But what about yourself?
Yep, I think the exact opposite. I think they do get completely blown out. I've got Storm 30 plus with Pat Anderson and Warbrick to score at $9.25.
Fair enough. Let's jump into the next game of the round. The Sharks versus the Rabbitohs. This one, uh, your boy AJ out. Obviously off the injury last week. A few people might have jumped on AJ.
Yeah.
Uh, Obviously one to move off in Supercoach, but in terms of players that you'd be jumping on, Fletcher Myers, would he interest you at all as the AJ replacement?
Look, with him, I don't. I mean, is he guaranteed to be the full replacement?
I mean, there's no guarantees in
I guess
life.
they kind of for if they're playing Tane Milne at this point, they kind of do have to play Fletcher Myers, don't they?
Yeah, I fucking hate Tiny Mill.
How's your first grade?
He's so bad. Um, but yeah, AJ one, and then an opposition winger, Ronaldo Mulatalo. How long is he out for?
I think he's out for 3 weeks from memory. Yeah,
Yeah,
three of my boys are out this game, dude. That's not fair. Three of my
yeah.
favorite players.
Ronaldo, yeah, he's decently traded out. That's just another one. Well, it's tough. Like I really, if you have Ronaldo, you'd really be wishing to have him for the
He's
run.
lost so much. He lost so much money as well. It's very hard to justify getting him out at this point, even if he may not be playing.
Yeah. If you can make other trades to make things work, I'd maybe hanging on to Ronaldo for the last couple of games of the season. But yeah, if not, like if you need to trade him out to get to a certain player, then it's fine. I'm not. Yeah, I don't feel strongly either way. If I had to pick, I would probably say hold Ronaldo. I actually don't know for certain how long he's out though, so
Yeah.
there's that. But yeah, in terms of well, you've got Ronaldo, right? So what's
Yeah.
your sort of plans with him?
I don't know what to do, to be honest. He's going to score points when he comes back, but the problem with him is how long is he going to be out for? I can't tell you. I think it's 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
And then by the time we get to the final rounds, either the Sharks will be super desperate and will play him, or there's every chance that by round 27 that he may not be playing anyway, given he gets rested.
Yeah, it's I just looked it up. It says he's out for around a month, which would put him like really close to the end of the season.
Yeah,
Um,
no, if that's the
yep,
case, I'm just going to have to sell him, unfortunately.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you could get a couple of games, so it really depends on the number of trades you have. You
Yeah,
might just hold him and then get him for have him for the last couple of games of the season. But um, yeah, if you had heaps of trades, I'd probably be moving off him. Aside from that, there's no one else that I like think you desperately have to move off. Cody Walker, I think had a
Mm.
quiet one, so it's fine to jump off him. What did he have? Oh no, actually, he had a 78. It's not too bad, but yeah, I think he scored. Let me see. Did he score a try? Actually, yeah, that
Mm.
did not. Yeah, he scored a try and a try assist. So 78 with a try and a try and assist is not very exciting from Cody Walker. So either way, you could be jumping on or off. Doesn't really matter. Uh, the only real interesting trading maybe Braden Trindle,
Mm.
but he did go up 100K last round. Would you be considering Trindle at all still?
I think he's too expensive now. If you don't have him, you don't have him.
613K is not that expensive,
I
but
just don't think he's worth 613k.
yeah, like I think there's better hubs. So you'll have to have Cleary in my opinion, and then it's who's your other half?
Yeah.
Maybe Cleary Trindle you could run. It's not the craziest thing ever. Actually, he does have 5/8 dual as well, so you could run him at a 5/8, but I don't think it's a trade you need to be making.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I definitely agree with that.
yeah. Anything else that that interests you at all, Supercoach wise?
Not really at all. I'm happy to move on to the betting if you want.
Yeah,
So,
so
what have you got for this game?
I got the Sharks over 29.5 total points on points bet. Obviously the Sharks had a tough loss on the weekend. And even in that loss, they managed 22 points. I think their attack's looking decent. And yeah, their defense hasn't been amazing. So I could see them scoring 30 points in this game and not getting up on that line still. So I'm much happier to take them over 29.5 total points in this one, especially against a Bunnies team that I'm not sure if they're still the worst defensive team in the comp, but they definitely were the worst defensive team in the comp at one point in time. I can also see I don't mind jumping on some Sharks wingers as well because the outside backs for this Bunnies team are not the best with AJ out now as well. Or not that AJ was defending that well when he was in, to be honest,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Keep in mind as well, the debutant for the Bunnies is actually a centre. They've got playing out in the wing because they have literally no one else there.
yeah. So yeah, points from the Sharks. I'm a big fan of. So over 29.5.
Actually, is Tane Milne right centre?
Oh,
I think so.
no, I think he's left.
Okay, if that's the case, then that left wing of Fletcher Myers and Tane Milne is going to be the worst defensive edge I've ever seen. They're going to leak so many points.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But what about yourself? What do you have in this one?
Yeah, look, I'm thinking kind of the exact opposite of you. I think the Bunnies do get up. So I'm going with the Bunnies and Fletcher Myers, the debutant to score and on debut at $6.
Yeah, fair enough. The next game of the round is the Sunday game, the Panthers versus the Knights, the game of the round. Uh,
Uh, yeah, I don't really want to talk about this one too
you're
much.
going? Are you coming along? Well,
Yeah,
I've got tickets to this game,
dude,
so
this was meant to be a double date. You know that, right?
and I've crushed it.
No, no. So like our other mates Misso pulled out.
Oh, really? She's not coming?
So yeah, now my wife is third wheeling. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not complaining.
But yeah, no, I'm keen to get out to Penrith. I haven't actually been to their stadium, so keen to check it out. I'm sure the atmosphere there will be good.
Yeah,
But yeah, a bit scared after their performance last weekend, and
yeah.
some weird selection choices you could say in this Knights team. But let's talk Supercoach. One that's always going to be on the top of people's lips. Sorry, is Kalen Ponga. Would you be thinking about trading him in this week? Obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup.
No, I would not consider trading him in this week.
Yeah, so I'm with you there. I'm very happy to just wait for next week. So that's sort of the reason that I went the wish heart down to enough, so that I'd probably cool her up to Ponga next week because I have that dual position. I can flip Bailey Hodgson around up to the centers. So I'll go cooler to Ponga most likely next week when he hits around like a 650 odd that he'll be. But I mean, I think Ponga's sort of player that can have a score decently in pretty much any game that he plays. But I just think like statistically, it's not going to be to your benefit to bring him in this round specifically. But I guess there's worse decisions you can make because he is still reasonably cheap. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, not for mine for this week. Like, it's not sort of player I think you have to rush him this week.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that.
Um, the number one most traded in player though is Nathan Cleary. Did you end up Obviously, you went on the podcast last week, but were you one of the 30 odd percent of people that jumped on him last week?
No, I wasn't, and I regret that strongly.
Yeah.
Uh, some
Obviously had
you win
a
some, you lose some, don't you?
175 top score of the season for him. Yeah, like very impressive. Happy that I captained him.
Yeah.
Uh, would you be at all thinking about anti-potting Cleary at this point in the season?
I mean, I think you just kind of have to have him, really. Like, the Panthers are flying high. They're putting points on for the first time in a long time. I think it'd
Mm.
be silly not to have him.
Yeah, look, I'm with you there. Like I feel like you kind of have to have him. The only argument you can sort of make against it is the scoring when Dylan Edwards does come back. Their both of their scoring is affected negatively because they get less involved individually, each of them. So Cleary may score worse. Dylan Edwards may score worse when Dylan Edwards is back in the team. Not that it negatively affects the team, but it just means the points are sort of more spread out across the team. Whereas if you look at the scores in that game, it was like Supercoach scores. Sorry, it was Cleary like 175, and then the next best was like 70 or
Yeah.
something from another Penrith player. So when Edwards isn't in the team, Cleary gets a lot of Supercoach points, but I think he still scores well for the run home. So if you're an owner, I wouldn't be worried, but there is an argument to be made to anti-pod. Cleary. Aside from that, Casey McLean, a lot of people are bringing in. I don't think it's a good move at 270k, just because yeah, like
I,
he had a 54 with a try on the weekend. I don't really see it as a player that you need. I don't know. I'm trying to think who they're playing. So is he going to keep that spot? I'm trying to think. Because
Dane
obviously,
Laurie, surely he moves back into the centres after Edwards is back.
I don't think, no, it'll be Alamotti and Taruba, but I don't know when they're all
True.
going to be there.
No, I think Dane Laurie is in good enough form. I think you could argue
Maybe
putting
they're
him
not
at
going to play in
centre.
the centers.
What?
They'll play Casey McLean in the centers over Dane Laurie. They won't play Dane Laurie in the centers.
Laurie's still good.
They won't. I'm like, if that's, I mean, in my opinion, if that's what you think is a risk um, to Casey McLean, then that's not a risk. Like Dane Laurie won't play in the centers, in
Well,
my
either
opinion.
way, there are players who could potentially be ahead of Casey McLean. So there's no guarantee he gets it.
Alamotti, yeah, Alamotti's the
Yeah.
risk that he comes back in and plays in the centers there.
I
But I'm
mean,
not
yeah,
sure
could come back from he could beat the Chargers.
May.
Yeah.
Yeah, May could beat the Chargers and come back. No, Alamotti is he? I'm not sure how long he's had injured, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. Look that up yourself. If Alamotti's back anytime soon, I wouldn't be jumping on Casey McLean at 270k. I'd much rather, if you're going someone cheap, I'd much rather pure enough in that you want to play like a Bailey Hodgson that's no chance of playing.
Yeah. Quite literally zero chance. He now plays for a different team.
Yeah, yeah. And then aside from that, a few people jumping on Isaiah Yo at like 590k. Much rather jump on a Paddy Carrigan in a few weeks if you're going to go someone stable like that. Um, Aside from that, not too much else. How's the Will Price experiment going for you? Have you
Not
jumped
well.
off him yet?
I'm just going to keep him there as enough at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
Fair enough.
Yeah, can we just say how weird it is that Gamble and Crossland are our halves now?
Yeah, I mean, we can speak to that. Like, I don't think there's too much else to talk about super coach wise. Let's talk betting. We can sort of speak to the makeup of our team. How do you think that affects the night's performance in that?
Awfully. Who is
Yeah.
the leading half? Phoenix Crossland is a hooker.
Yeah, I mean,
I
well,
mean, he
he's
started at
half.
halfback and he proved he wasn't
He's a
very
half.
good.
He's more a half than a hooker. He was a filling hooker and then he became
He
He had
became
a
our hooker.
decent
He's
season.
he's an awesome hooker. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, like he's I think like he's a solid hooker. Don't get me wrong, but he was a half before that, so he might go okay. But it's just yeah, like you said, it's a weird one. If I was to take a bet, I mean, sorry, if I was going to bet on the game, which I'm not going to because it's a night's game, but I wouldn't be very inclined to bet either way in this game because like you really don't know how they're going to go together in the halves. It could be a bloodbath for us, or they could have a decent game and keep it close. But we did have some games against Penrith in the last couple of years where we've kept it
Yeah,
really
we've
close.
held them close.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
then like
also,
the year and
Fletcher
year.
Sharp being on the wing could be a massive wild card as well. Like, if
Yeah,
you see him
exactly.
like step on the wing, I don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
But Lucas is at center again, which is very frustrating. And hopefully Greg Margie was healthier, but he's not looking good over the past couple of weeks, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the buy hopefully did us well.
Yeah.
That's another factor to consider if you're betting on this game. We're obviously going to be fresher than the Penrith team.
Yeah.
But sometimes the buy has negative impacts because you haven't been playing footy. The Penrith team obviously were flowing very well.
Yeah, and
Um,
keep in mind as well, it's pretty late in the season, and players openly named Safidi, Brayley, Hetherington, and Cogger are fighting for they're fighting for new contracts.
yeah,
They might play well knowing that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So plenty to consider in this one. Obviously, we're still sniff to make the eight as well. So I think that's definitely that's a non-zero factor. Like, um, yeah, you got to take that into account. So I wouldn't be laying the Penrith points if
Uh,
that's where you were inclined. But yeah,
I think completely unbiased here. I think there's a reason why we're $6, and it would not surprise me if we lose by 30.
yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good bet. Um, but yeah, I like yeah, happy for us both to not be on this game and just go and
Yep.
enjoy. And hopefully the Knights put together a decent performance, get a win maybe, but unlikely. But you know,
I think this is going to be exactly like the Manly game. We go there and we're going to get to chatting with people on the hill and start crying halfway through, just telling ourselves why we're here.
yeah, quite possibly. But you know, we love the boys, so get around it. Let's jump into the last game of the round though, the Bulldogs versus the Raiders.
This should actually be a really good game. I think the Raiders are on the up. They've got their man Fogg back.
Yeah,
The Raiders, the forwards are good as always against a doggies pack that is better than ever.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
gonna be a great game to watch.
yeah. I agree. The doggies team looked really strong on the weekend, and obviously the Raiders had a comfortable victory as well. So I'll be very interested to see where this one ends up. I'm a big fan of some of these doggies boys. Connor Tracy is one who had a massive game on the weekend. Would you be considering someone like a Connor Tracy in Supercoach? He had like a 160 or something like that, I want to say.
I
Uh,
really think he could be a good pod. I think he'd be an awesome pod actually.
yeah, 0.7% of teams, so over 1,000 trade-ins this week for Connor Tracy. Let me double check his score again. He had a 167, so pretty crazy score. He's obviously not really going to score that again, but yeah, I definitely can see some value in a Connor Tracy there. Another highly traded player, Jacob Carraz, 716K. I don't know. I don't like he's fine. Like he obviously looked really good on the weekend. So there's
Yeah, the
no
problem with these Bulldogs wingers and centers is they don't seem to score consistently.
yeah, and the Bulldogs have been sort of putting a lot of effort into their defense this season. They've been like a top three defensive side
Yeah, but their
this
attack
season.
isn't that great. It's not consistent, and if it does, it normally goes through the middle as well. I just don't think a Bulldogs like outside back is a great choice unless it's Connor Tracy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Connor Tracy seems to be in everything, so I'd be with you there that I'd probably prefer Connor Tracy to someone like a Jake Carraz. The weekend was the first game they really looked like they could score points really easily. So yeah, I'm not massively inclined to jump on a Bulldogs outside back either. Uh, but you know, if they start to put together a few performances, then maybe yeah, a Bulldogs outside back becomes a viable option. But I think there's a lot of risk at this point in time in jumping on a Bulldogs outside back. Aside from that, not too many highly traded in players. Oh, the more I look at kind of trades, the more I want to jump on it. Like 2% owned, like massive, massive pod, as opposed to like someone like a Jake Perez at 15.5%.
Yeah,
Would be a really, really tasty pod,
could be a
honestly.
shot. Could be a choice. Yeah.
Aside from that, Supercoach wise, honestly, not much. Um, yeah. Do you have anything else to sort of touch on in either of these two teams?
Not really. So I'm happy to go straight to the betting if
Yep.
you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
So do you have anything for this game?
At this point, no bet. I don't really know exactly where these two teams are going to be at. I might think about like an either team 1 to 12 closer to the game. I think they would be really evenly matched, but it's one of those like they both won comfortably on the weekend. It's hard to know if that means they're both like flying and they're going to come up against each other and it's going to be really evenly matched, or one of the teams they played were just really, really poor, and then one of these two teams is just going to still win comfortably. So it's hard to know exactly where they're at, which is yeah, makes it hard to bet on. But maybe yeah, closer to the game, like either team 1 to 12, something like that. But what
Yep,
about
fair
yourself?
enough. Totally agree with you there, to be honest.
What's your bet in this one?
Oh, yep. So sorry, I completely blanked out there. Yeah. So I've got the Dogs, kick out, and Sherry anytime try score at 775.
Yeah, nice. Any particular reason? Just like dogs of war?
Yeah, look, I think Dogs of War. Have you seen that meme where it's like every 10 years the Dogs make a final?
Yeah.
I think they make the grand final this year, so I think the Doggies win. I think it's going to be a close one. But other than that, yeah, Kickout is doing pretty well. He scores. He's one of the few consistent scorers for them. So with Cherry for some reason.
Mm,
Yeah, those two together, I think, should be a good game for the Doggies.
yeah. As much as I hate the doggies because a lot of my cousins go for them,
Doggies
um,
bad.
yeah, I do hate them as a team, but it's kind of exciting to see them going on this little run. They're kind of a fun team to get around, especially with some of the players in that team. So it is fun to watch them every week, and I'll be definitely tuning in to this game if I get a chance. If we haven't got too rowdy at the game before.
Yeah.
But that wraps up this week. Do you have anything else to add? Who do you have in Supercoach this week? Do you have any fighting words? Um,
Um, just don't go too hard on me, please.
mm, very, very strong fighting words there from yourself.
It's
Um,
called being realistic, mate.
yeah, let me actually see who you have. I just want to see. Oh, you got Joel Grubel.
Oh, groups. Grubble,
So
grubble.
you probably could release your trades. Like I highly doubt he's watching this.
I mean, there's still a very real chance that a certain Jacob tells him to look at the podcast this week,
True,
so maybe not.
true, true, true. But yeah, no. Big matchups this week. Buff bet versus so long it's right. Uh,
Are you
yeah.
just accepting that the only people watching this podcast now are the people actually in the Supercoach group?
Nah. We'll have thousands of viewers this pod, but yeah, just it is interesting point in Supercoach finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's everything. We'll leave it there for today. A little bit of a shorter one maybe, but do you have anything else to leave us with? Are we gonna sort out this side bet?
Yeah, okay. Give me the third
Some
option and I'll consider it. Tell me what it
Okay,
is.
okay. I'll come back to you. Everyone drop a comment what the third option should be, and I'll come back to you as well with a third option from either one of those comments, or someone sees me in person, just an option for this side bet that you have to do.
Give me a gibble gobble.
But yeah, no, good luck to everyone moving into the finals of their super coach, and good luck with your betting as always. But if that's everything, we'll go fuck ourselves.